mana sayang ke hati.
Pangkal Pinang tempat wisata, Pangkal Pangkal Pinang tempat wisata. Hasilnya karet di Madan Lada.
Hasilnya karet sayang di Madan Lada.
Dari mana datang Alinta? Dari mana datang Alinta? Darilah sawah turun ke kali. Darilah sawah sayang turun ke kali. Dari mana datangnya cinta?
Dari mana datangnya cinta?
Darilah mata
turun ke hati. Darilah mata sayang turun ke hati.
Sungai liat ke Pangkal Pinang. Sungai liat ke Pangkal Pinang. Singgah sedengar di dinding panjang. Singgah sedengar sayang
Di dinding panjang.
Maksud hati negeri meminang. Maksud hati negeri meminang. Tak tahu aben di tulang urang. Tak tahu aben sayang di tulang urang. Kalau ada sumur di ladang. Kalau ada sumur di ladang. Bolehlah kita menumpang mandi.
Bolehlah kita sayang menumpang mandi.
Kalau ada umur yang panjang. Kalau ada umur yang panjang. Bolehlah kita berjumpa lagi. Bolehlah kita sayang berjumpa lagi. Bolehlah kita berjumpa lagi. Bolehlah kita sayang
Berjumpa lagi.
Balayar jauh, ketinggalkan
Pinang tempat wisata, Pangkal Pinang tempat wisata. Hasilnya karet di Madan Lada,
Hasilnya karet sayang di Madan Lada.
Dari mana datang Alinta? Dari mana datang Alinta? Darilah sawah turun ke kali, darilah sawah sayang turun ke kali. Dari mana datangnya cinta?
Dari mana datangnya cinta?
Darilah mata
Turun ke hati, darilah mata sayang turun ke hati.
Sungai liat ke Pangkal Pinang. Sungai liat ke Pangkal Pinang. Singgih sedengar dinding panjang. Singgih sedengar sayang dinding panjang. Maksud hati negeri meminang. Maksud hati negeri meminang. Tak tahu aben di tulang urang. Tak tahu aben sayang di tulang urang. Kalau ada sumur di ladang. Kalau ada sumur di ladang. Bolehlah kita menumpang mandi.
Bolehlah kita sayang menumpang mandi.
Kalau ada umur yang panjang. Kalau ada umur yang panjang. Bolehlah kita berjumpa lagi. Bolehlah kita sayang berjumpa lagi. Bolehlah kita berjumpa lagi. Bolehlah kita sayang berjumpa lagi.
Balayar jauh ke singgal kampung jauh di sana. Siang mama, ada DP lama, ada DP lama. Apa tempo kita balik ulang ke sana? Tuh belok selalu tak bayar. Tak berindu-rindu, tak berindu-rindu. Tuh belok sejauh di mata. Siang mama, ada do kasihan parindu di semua.
Hati rindu balik ulang ke sana. Membuatku dapat mama papa bersaudara. Setara tahan rindu ke darah. Tak bela marahin selalu kita bangga. Biar sejauh terpilih gunung dan tanjung. Kau beringat-ingat kita terasono. Iya kau bumi mualamu. Tak ingin bisa hadir dia menantang.
Hidup di rantau jauh dari kampung. Rasa paling jauh bercari yang minta tolong. Jauh dari Tobelo rasa rindu minta ampun. Hati rindu balik air mata meleleh. Ingat adat budaya tidak cakalele. Kalau ada yang bisa kele ini torang menyele. Muhin atau hangga sama-sama tengah panggil.
Kia todo Tobelo so paling jauh. Kita di sini tahan rindu mama pulang ke kampung. Orang tak lupa biar sejauh. Jangan orang lupa basudara. Tobelo selalu di jantung.
Recording in progress. Baik Bapak Ibu, kami mohon untuk berdiri. Karena Bapak Dirjen akan segera memasuki ruang acara. Selamat datang kepada Bapak Dirjen Direktur Jenderal Perbendaharaan Bapak Hadianto. Baik, terima kasih kepada Bapak Ibu. Kami persilakan untuk duduk kembali. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bangun tidur tak lupa sarapan. Sarapan pagi lontong ketupat. Salam hormat saya ucapkan untuk para hadirin yang terhormat. His Excellency Mr. Hadianto, Director General of Treasury. High-level leaders of the Directorate General of Treasury, respected speakers, all participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome to International Seminar, Ensuring Best Performance Through Digitalization. We are delighted to welcome each one of you right here in Danapala Ballroom, Jakarta, and the participants who are joining us virtually via Zoom meeting and also YouTube streaming. My name is Fanisha Rizky. It is such an honor for me to be your host in today's event. Thank you. We are here to celebrate the 76th Hari Uang, and this seminar is a part of it. As we already know, this seminar is also one of the series events of the high-level national meeting Directorate General of Treasury 2022. That is held on 25th until 28th of October 2022 under the theme Digital Treasury, Simplicity to Enhance Trustworthy. Business transformations towards digital should boost the whole government services. This seminar is expected to provide insight for the Indonesian government in search of the optimal balance point between costs and benefits in terms of IT system development. Of course, according to regulatory scope in Indonesia, drawing the experiences and practices from the public and private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to firstly deliver today's agenda. The first one is the opening. The second agenda, we will enjoy art performance by Angklung Kabumi. Subsequently, we are entering the main agenda, which is panel discussion led by the moderator. And finally, in the closing ceremony, we will entertain by Angklung and a video performance. We have already run through the opening. Then let us move into the second agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, Now together we are going to experience Indonesia's traditional music instrument from West Java. Without further ado, please join me to give bigger round of applause for Angklung Kabumi. Wonderland Indonesia.
Kota baru gunungnya Bamega, Bamega Mbak mana pudi Salakara Mbak mana pudi Salakara. Batamu lawanlah Adinda, Adinda iman di dadara sama layang iman di dadara sama layang. Sayang-sayang si patokaan matego-tego gorokan sayang. Sayang-sayang si patokaan matego-tego gorokan sayang.
Sajojo, sajojo, yumanam komi sabapara samuda-muda-mun keke, samuda-muda-mun keke. Soleram, 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 anak yang manis, anak manis, janganlah dicium, sayang kalau dicium, merahlah pipinya.
Kampung nan jauh di Matro, gunung sengsai baku lilia, takkan najo kawan-kawanan lamu, sangke basuli yang sulia.
Pisahnya bulu jauh di awang-awang, mepet kinjang-jang bangun tayap garirang. Kuna dulu kejempa untuk mengeluh, dapat megabari benar tarik dulu.
Mana di mana anak kambing sayang, anak kambing tuan ada di pohon abu. Mana di mana jantung hati sayang, jantung hati tuan ada di kampung baru.
Ojo pijar nangis, aku ayo rupane dadio pendekare wongso.
Kami berjanji padamu negeri, kami berbakti padamu negeri, kami mengabdi bagimu negeri, jiwa raga
We would like to deliver our gratitude to the performers for showing us the magnificent and enchanting art performance. And for the fun fact, Angklung is recognized by UNESCO as one in the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue our main agenda, we are going to take a group photo together. Please, participants who are joining us virtually, to open the camera. Okay, once again, please, participants who are joining us virtually, to open the camera. All right, we will start counting for the photo. Give the brightest smile to the camera. 3, 2, 1. Once again, 3, 2, 1. All right. Oh, one. Okay, once again, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, continuing to our next agenda, which is panel discussion with the topic Ensuring Best Performance Through Digitalization, led by our moderator. Allow me to read the CV of our moderator. Mr. Abdul Ghafur is the head of a section development of budget execution at the Bali Treasury Regional Office. He graduated with a master's degree from Boston University, United States. Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Abdul Ghafur.
Thank you so much, Mbak Fani, for your kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu, near and far, wherever you are, whether you attend this seminar virtually or present here with us physically, a very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the Danapala Ballroom here in Jakarta. Welcome to the International Seminar Ensuring Best Performance Through Digitalization. think we could use some big round of applause here. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu, my name is Abdul Ghafur, and I'm from the Directorate General of Treasury, Bali Regional Office, and it is both a great pleasure and an honor for me to be the moderator for today's event. First of all, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to someone which without him this event would not be possible. The Director General of Treasury, Ministry of Finance of Indonesia, Bapak Hadianto. Good morning, Bapak. Thank you for coming, Bapak. The Secretary of the Directorate General of Treasury, Ministry of Finance, Bapak Didik Hoirul. Good morning, Pak Ses. Thank you for coming. A warm welcome also to all high-level leaders of the Directorate General of Treasury, respected speakers, all participants, distinguished guests, organizing committee, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu, I think we all agree that Indonesian Treasury is changing rapidly, if not exponentially. We've been in a place where we do many things manually, including paying everything with cash. But we are changing, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have the system, we have SPAN, or Treasury System, State's Treasury and Budget System, and as well as SAKTI, Financial Application System in the institutional level. And these two systems change fundamentally the way we do our job. And today we are here to learn more about the digital transformation regarding the government payment platform. And for that, we have invited 5 speakers to join with us today to share their experience, their expertise. So without much further ado, I would like to introduce you to all 5 speakers today. So we have 3 speakers, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu, who are joining us virtually from far away. First, we have speaker from South Korea. He has over 30 years of experience in information technology as a principal IT consultant and as a project manager for digital transformation covering public finance, taxation, customs, and procurement. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Manager of External Cooperation Division, Korean Fiscal Information Service, Republic of Korea, Mr. Sang-wook Nam. The next speaker is also joining us from far away, from Australia. This speaker has more than 20 years of experience working across a number of agencies in Commonwealth and state government in the fields of health, aging, social services, and disability. Ladies and gentlemen, First Assistant Secretary, Shared Services Transformation Program Office, Governance and Resource Management of the Australian Government, Ms. Lucelle Feneros. So we have speaker from Asia, as well as from Australia, and now we have one from the Middle East. This speaker has held several positions in the Indonesian capital market and financial institution supervision, as well as in the Fiscal Policy Agency at the Ministry of Finance of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, the Finance Attaché at the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Abu Dhabi, UAE, Bapak Bobby Wahyu Hernawan. The next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is with us today. He is the figure behind the rapid development of our Treasury information system and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big welcome to the Director of Treasury Information System and Technology, Ministry of Finance of Indonesia, Bapak Saiful Islam. Pak Saiful, would you be so kind to join me on the stage? And our last panelist is also with us today physically. He is coming from one of the largest bank in Indonesia. He was a branch manager in Bank Mandiri from 2008 until 2013 and was an assistant vice president from 2013 until 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, the vice president, digital acquiring development, Digital Banking Product Group of Bank Mandiri, Bapak Eko Yudhistira. Please, we invite you, Pak, to the stage. Thank you. So we already have the panelists here. Do we have the panelists from virtual? Mr. Nam? Okay, we have it. Good morning, Mr. Nam, Ms. Feneros, and also Pak Bobby.
Good morning.
Good morning as well. I believe it's early morning in Abu Dhabi, Pak Bobby, and also it's afternoon in Canberra, I believe. Ms. Feneros, thank you for accepting our invitations and thank you for coming to our seminar today. Also, we have here Pak Director, Mr. Director, Pak Saiful Islam. How are you today, Pak? Good. Thank you for coming, Bapak, and also Pak Eko. I am a customer of Bank Mandiri, Pak, for almost 15 years, so it's nice to have you here to meet one of the vice president of the Bank Mandiri. So we have all panelists here, and then I would like to start the discussion. But before that, each panelist will have 10 to 15 minutes to present their presentation, and after that, I will invite questions from the audience here in the Napala as well as from Zoom meeting. Feel free to ask Bapak Ibu whether in English or in Indonesian. Bisa bertanya dalam bahasa Inggris Bapak Ibu dan juga dalam bahasa Indonesia. And then we hope that there will be a lot of questions from the audience so we can make the most of this seminar. So let me give the floor first to you, Mr. Director, Pak Saiful, because we are building this government payment platform in Indonesia. Please give us an update about it, and then the floor is yours 15 minutes from now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gafur. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, good morning everyone. Pak Dirjen, allow me to present for this session. Ladies and gentlemen, all participants that come here directly or virtual via Zoom. In first 15 minutes, I will present as a representative of DG of Treasury. The topic that I will to present is regarding with the Indonesia experience in digitalization of its core financial system. Let me start with what I quote from one of the most popular CEO in this globe, I guess, Satya Nadella. He is a Microsoft CEO now. And he said that our industry does not respect tradition, it only respects innovation. That makes Microsoft can be leading a big IT company in the recent years because of his leadership. So yeah, the keyword is innovation. I want to bring the presentation during the 50 minutes talking about the innovation that already done by DG of Treasury and probably what we want going to do in few years within DG of Treasury. I divided into three parts of my presentation. The first one is the journey of IT evolution that we already done in Ministry of Finance, particularly in DG of Treasury. And then the second one, I will focus in DGPB or DG of Treasury digital transformation. And then the last thing, I will talking about the initiative for improvement. I can see the next slide. This is like a magic slide because my team in DG Treasury, especially in Directorate of SITP, already doing the research for a couple weeks or maybe a couple months in order to collect the history of the IT they already done, especially in DG of Budget in that time and DG Treasury recently. And then we conclude with this magic slide. I can say this is magic slide. The IT evolution of DG of Treasury. Start in 1970. In that time, I guess computerization just like started in anywhere, including in Indonesia. And Department of Finance can be one of the leading agency in Indonesia that bring the idea to computerize of the process. And we are really familiar with the several technology that offered by the prominent principal in that time. And also we adopt very quickly. We also train, we recruit new young staff of employee of Ministry of Finance. And in that time, I'm one of the person that selected to get the opportunity to get the training, the programming. I guess also Pak Tauhid, one of them also in that time. And then we get the training for about 6 months in order to learn how to make the program to support the application that will be running in our institution. So we try to get the history of the journey of the IT that already done in Ministry of Finance, especially on DG budget, and then convert to DG of the Treasury. So if we are now in 2022, it means already almost 50 years. We already familiar with the IT in our institution. Now we are in 2022, almost the end of 2022. And before we ending this year, we already also achieved several achievements. For example, the launch of the Sakti in the early of this year, 2022, while all of the spending unit, the around 19,000 spending unit spreading from the Aceh to the Papua. Nowadays, they using the Sakti quite well, I believe. And prior that time, 7 or 8 years ago, we also launched what we call SPAN. We can say that SPAN implementation is one of the big bang evolution that already implemented in Ministry of Finance in 2015 in that time. So you can see from this slide, in terms of the institution that use the technology that we produce, and then the technology that we adopt, and then what is the output of the application or system that we release. And also now, after we implement the Sakti, SPAN, and MPN and so on, we're also thinking about the next or incoming the future, near future. We produce a lot of data that produced by SPAN, Sakti, and so on. The big question now is how we utilize the data that we have, like 1 million data that we have so far. And then the next question is how we prepare our people the young generation, they are familiar with data that produced by the system, and then the organization give them support in order to deal with the data that we produce day by day. So now, in our thinking, we want to make the future of the technology with the more complete of the IFMIS, or Integrated Financial Management Information System. Priorly still not only completely, because we still look at the SPAN and SAKTI is still spirited, but in the near future we have the vision how about we will consolidate the system that already running by SPAN and SAKTI. This is one of the vision that we have. But running about the organization is not about the SPAN and SAKTI. We also have the non-core system that every single non-core system then we put in the digit that we call digitalization of the treasury. So all of the non-core system we put in on the one single bucket. And this is another challenge, I guess. The third one is regarding with the treasury big data. As I said before, because we have a lot of data, we have brilliant people that we just recruit, and then how we put in together human resource and data and the vision of the organization, and TBD is becoming the next vision in order to make the IT and data getting well managed and utilized. The third part that I want to share in this session is regarding with our experience when we develop of one of the core system that we call SPAN. Previous several years when we develop a SPAN, actually this is like the first time we had experience to build the large system like SPAN, end-to-end process. So I categorize here that we have to make the concern for the four things. The first one is business process integration. The second one is IT that we choose to support the business process. And the third one is the change management. And the last one, but not least, it is also very important, the project management team that try to consolidate, manage all of the three of the issue that I mentioned before. So the project management also we conduct as the part of the important matters when we want to develop the big system such as SPAN. So now what we can learn from the development of the SPAN. Timeline is so matter. So we have like a strictly timeline that we have to be evaluated day by day, week by week, and so on. And also stakeholders with different priority that we have to manage. In that time, we have directorate like a budget, execution, accounting, and so on. They have different point of view. Then we have to have opportunity to consolidate them on the one system. And also, what is the scope and system integration potential that we can do with the new system that we just developed. Three of them that I believe it's quite difficult in that time, because this is like the first time experience we built the large scale project. The blessing thing is we got the leadership in managing from the minister directly. In that time, we have the leadership of the Ibu Sri Mulyani, and then continued by Pak Agus Marto, that both of them luckily very concerned about the successful of the SPAN development. So next, I will talk about the benefit cost analysis. This is just like a simple analysis, how we try to make the comparison between the cost that we already spent and also the benefit that we get it. So I can say from the simple simulation here, what the cost that we already spent for the what purpose, hardware, and then maintenance, user services, development, and so on. And then what is the potential benefit that we already get it from the system that we release. So based on our calculation, we can make more detail. Yeah. So we can say that using the cost-benefit analysis, so the benefit when we develop of the system is 3 times of the cost. This is that we conclude from the calculation of the span development. So this is like the calculation, the cost that we already spent so far, 1.1 trillion rupiah. And then this is current today, based on 2021, benefit are 3 times then the operational cost. I believe this is still need to be more detailed exercise, but from the span example, we can say that using the span make us more benefit rather than we did not develop the span in that time. After 7 years, the operation of the span, now we are thinking about the future of the span. So we create the initiative for improvement of the span. We try to learn from the several countries. One of them is Korea, but we also learn from the other country that already has the experience when they move from the current existing core system and then develop to the next generation of the system. So based on the initiative for improvement, we did feasibility study, initial research, and then we try to redefine what is actually the business objective that need by the business unit, and then the other challenge, whether we're gonna use the cost approach such as the span approach that we did before, or we want to use another way as we did when we developed of the Sakti that we call LDSW, Local Development Software. So Directorate SITP has 2 different experience when develop and running span and Sakti. I think it's good for us, so we can compare which one is like more challenging, but we can still manage for consideration to develop for the next span generation. So, and then we also identify what is the issue and try to choose the alternative of the implementation. We plan that on the end of 2024, at least span next generation already can be utilized, can be replaced for the current span. We just only have like less than 2 years. Based on our calculation, the development time itself is probably around 18 months. This is like an optimistic plan, but we hope that we can achieve that. And for the closing remark from me, I guess DJBP has a long story of improvement, both in process business and IT. Along with IT industrialization, Digital of Treasury is embracing the change by initiating an IT evolution that is carried over time still till today. By experiencing the change for better future, it is proven that by adopting an IT solution is presenting a huge benefit. Yeah, SPAN gave us the lesson at 3 times. We have not yet counted for the Sakti and MPN, but we will do that. Furthermore, DJBP are still continue to modernize its IT capability consistently, such as make a study involving other country, resulting in a precise and better IT solution. I will close my presentation in this 15 minutes with again quote what Satya Nadella said: "If you don't jump on the new, you don't survive." Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Saiful. Such an insightful presentation, Bapak, of Indonesian experience on doing the digital transformation. Now I'd like to move to Mr. Nam, our presenter who are joining us virtually from Seoul, I believe. So Mr. Nam will share with us the Korean experience. Maybe we can learn one or two things from Korea. Mr. Nam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Mr. Nam, I will give the floor to you right now. The floor is yours, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good morning everybody here. Okay, I hope that everybody have a good morning there in Jakarta and other area as well. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Hang Nam, a senior manager at the Korea Fiscal Information Service or KPIS. So I'm currently in charge of international cooperation on behalf of Korea Fiscal Information Service as per the DBRAIN system. That is the Korean Financial Management Information System. So first of all, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful seminar today. It is such an honor to be part of the Ministry of Finance Trustsury Festival in
Thank you so much, Mr. Hadianto, for participating for today's event.
Please continue, Mr. Nam.
All right. So I thought there was something. Okay. Today, the title of my talk is Digital Transformation in Expenditure and the Financial Management Information System with the DBRAIN Next Generation. So I hope that today's lecture will be able to contribute to the improving your current payment platform, including Sakti and SPAM of the Ministry of Finance Indonesia. So let me go into the main part of my presentation. Next. Okay, next. Yeah, so the content of my talk today. So first of all, I give you an overview of KPIS, that is our application, and the DBRAIN Plus, that is the latest version of IFMIS, or Integrated Financial Management Information System of Korea, and then I go through the expenditure module inside the DBRAIN Plus. That is the main topic of my presentation today. So last, I recap my talk at the end of the presentation. Okay, let me start with the KPIS and DBRAIN Plus overview. Okay, next. The Korea Fiscal Financial Information Service, or KPIS, was established based on the law that was passed by the National Assembly in 2016. And it begins that to the economic finance of Korea. So there are about a little over 320 people working in 6 different departments in our organization. So we have the headquarters in Seoul, and I'm sitting here, and the 5 regional offices across the country. So our key function are to operate and manage the DBRAIN Plus and the e-Naradong. That is the integrated government subsidy management information system. Next. And next. This is the history of Korean financial management information system. So you can see that the development history of Korea's financial management information system, or FMI system, starting from the first generation of a budget system all the way to the right to the first generation of DBRAIN Plus. So in the second generation, we had the PIMSys and the NAPIS, features respectively the budgeting system and accounting system. So they are separate from one another, like Sakti, even SPAN in Indonesia. So DBRAIN system, with third generation FMIS, had been integrated two systems into one in 2007. So until last year, for about 14 years, the DBRAIN, the previous DBRAIN, had been served as a Korean FMIS. Next. So basically, this slide is an overview of the DBRAIN Plus system, which is the latest version of Korean FMIS. So DBRAIN Plus is an integrated financial management information system where all financial processes are conducted online, and the national financial information is linked and analyzed. The DBRAIN Plus is divided mainly into financial business processing information system, and also the financial information utilization information system. So on the left-hand side, the cycle starts with the establishment of a 5-year national fiscal management plan to budget formulation, to budget execution, and also performance management. That's the business processing information system. Okay. So the slide shows the feature of the Dividend Plus as the first feature of the Dividend Plus. The previous dividend system, there are 13 unit tasks, but we added additional 11 unit tasks. So now in the new Dividend Plus system, we have 24 unit tasks or modules. So as a second features of Dividend Plus, basically the previous dividend system was connected to system in 49 different institutions. But now, the new system has been connected to 76 different government organizations. Lastly, the third important feature of the Dividend Plus is that it's data-based policy decision supporting system. So on the bottom, you can see the development history of Dividend Plus. Okay, next. As I've been talking about the KPIs and Dividend Plus overview, so now I'd like to go on to the actual specific contents of the expenditure module of Dividend Plus. Next. Okay, basically, this slide is Korea's statistical information on expenditure in 2021. For your information, next. Okay, this slide is the expenditure overview in Dividend Plus system. So generally, expenditure refers to the payment of cash from the national treasury in accordance with the expenditure budget and the funds management plan. In Korea, expenditure itself mainly consists of two kinds: the general expenditure and agency operation expenses. The general expenditure means national funds are transferred to the account of creditors or recipients upon commitment of expenditure. So on the other hand, agency operation expenses is the expenses for each an official in charge of an account receive the funds necessary for agency operation purpose from a payment officer. So in line with the expenditure, Korean government have relevant rules such as Management of National Funds Act, National Finance Act, National Accounting Act, etc. Next. This slide shows the expenditure business model. The main function of the expenditure business model in Dividend Plus are spending request, commitment, and spending decision and payment transfer. So as you can see on the right hand, the budget allocation information and the fund allocation information are input for expenditure business model, and the expenditure business information for treasury transfer information are output for electronic funds transfer. So as for the interconnection with the external government organizations, there are procurement organization, billing organization, etc. Next. So compared to the previous slide, this slide shows the expenditure module configuration diagram. So there are 10 sub-modules such as spending request, commitment, and spending decision, and closing, and government purchase credit cards, etc. So in the latest slides, I'm going to explain government purchase credit card in more details. So who are using the expenditure module? So on the left-hand side, you can see that the 61 nine ministries users are using the expenditure module of the Dividend Plus. So meaning all central government, the government agents, and the officials are using the expenditure modules. So then on the right-hand side, you can see the linked institutions and their relevant information systems. As for example, Bank of Korea and then Korea Financial Telecommunications and Clearing Institute, or KFTC, and the Commercial Bank are entities or groups for treasury transfer management. Next. Okay, this slide shows how expenditure modules and electronic fund transfer or EFT modules work together. So by interacting between expenditure module and the EFT modules, government funds is transferred to a recipient bank account in real time. Okay, next. So this slide shows some of the screenshots for expenditure modules. So on the right-hand side, there is a screenshot for spending request window by a project manager. So the spending request is enabled for the project manager in any of the line ministries to draft a spending request in accordance with the acts that serve as the basis of government spending, such as contract. Next. Okay, this slide shows another screenshot for expenditure modules of different Plus. So on the right-hand side, there is a screenshot for real-time treasury transfer window by payment officers. So just for your information, the number of transfer transactions are 71,000. And the total amount of transfer is worth 12 trillion Korean won on daily average. Okay, next. Okay, from now on, I'm going to explain the features of the expenditure module in different Plus. Okay, the first important feature of expenditure in different Plus is electronic fund transfer or EFT. So, you know what? EFT had been introduced in early 2003. So, as you recall that we have a fourth generation of FMIS. So, from the second generation, the EFT had been introduced. So, we are using until now. So, EFT essentially provides electronic transfer service of a treasury fund through linkage with the Bank of Korea and the commercial banks. So the detailed sequences in dealing with the one transaction from the payment request until the treasury transfer are shown in the center of this slide. Okay, next. The second important feature of the expenditure module is what we call multi-level internal control. So as you can see, the expenditure module of different Plus has divided tightly, the authority of the project officer, the treasurer, and the payment officer. So the roles have been advised to prevent any concurrent positions. So we have internal controls in place to prevent any kinds of incidents. So I'd like to emphasize that the different Plus expenditure module has enabled a more transparent expenditure by applying 3-stage internal control. Next. Okay, the third important feature of expenditure module is government purchase card or GPC. So what is GPC? So GPC or government purchase card is a corporate card issued to government agencies to eliminate the use of cash in expenditure transactions. The Korean government has entered into agreement with 18 credit card companies to operate the government purchase card. So in the middle of the slide, you can see some of the examples of government purchase card. So also, in order to prevent illegal use of the GPC, a clean card system that restricts the types of businesses such as entertainment, gambling, etc. can be used is applied. So I'm sure that the GPC is contributing to improve the efficiency and the transparency of the work of the government and affiliated institutions as well. Okay, next. The last important feature of the expenditure module is we have equipped of the secure expenditure infrastructure. So in line with these features, server dualization, secure network communication lines, the triple layer backup method are applied. Okay, next. Okay, so far I have talked a lot about the expenditure model of different clouds. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about the stakeholders relating to the government expenditure of Korea. So from the government aspect, there are fiscal authorities like the Ministry of Finance and the 61 line ministries who are the users of this FRMI system or different clouds. And also there is a National Audit Agency. And also among the financial institutions in the middle, there are Bank of Korea and then KFTC and the 22 commercial banks and 18 credit card companies. And from the private sector, there are individuals and also business entities. So each entity has its own roles and responsibilities in line with the government the expenditure works. So I think I have spent too much time. So okay, next. Yeah, next. Okay, this is the last screen. So first, I would like to summarize the recap of my talk. The first point I'd like to make is that the provision of the consistent expenditure in the service through one IFMIS built-in locally developed software method. So we are dealing with government money and its expenditure. So that means it should be seamlessly processed from the budget allocation, from cash allocation, until the transfer to the recipient account using one or integrated financial management information system. And the second point I want to make is that improvement of business processes, such as simplification of financial businesses and the application of changes to related laws and guidelines. And third one is the close cooperation between government agencies for information system connection and the operation of partnership based on the mutual trust among stakeholders. The first one is to establish the secure infrastructure for the expenditure network or platform. So last but not least, one is to operate the specialized public organization. That is the Korea Fiscal Information Service, consisting of global financial experts and IT experts. Okay, I think that is my end of my presentation. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Nam. Round of applause for Mr. Nam, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Mr. Nam. Highlight about the Brain Plus that the Korean government use, and also we've seen the business model of the Brain Plus. Actually, I'd like to ask Mr. Nam about the trustworthiness of the system, but we have to move. I would ask later because we have to move to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Ms. Veneros. Ms. Veneros, are you ready?
Good morning, yes I am.
Good morning, Ms. Veneros. Good afternoon indeed in Canberra.
Thank you. Yes,
okay,
yes,
Ms. Veneros, thank you for coming, and then start from now, I will give the time to you, 15 minutes, thank you.
Thank you very much. So thank you firstly for inviting me to participate in your discussion and deliberations today. A pleasure to be with you. Today I'm going to actually talk about the Australian government's experience in digitalising our health system. This slides are available in the book. Excellent, thank you. We might move to the next page and I'll just run through briefly what my presentation is going to cover. So we're going to talk a bit about government's vision for financial management systems. Some of our core financial systems, we look across the entire ecosystem. The importance of the business processes that underpin those and looking at those holistically. What are our assurance mechanisms, particularly when we work in an environment with stakeholders? Some of the benefits that the Australian government is seeing from digitalisation and our future developments. Thank you. So in the context of the Australian government's vision, obviously digital technology, as we've already touched on this morning, is changing the way businesses interact with government and also the way citizens are interacting with government. And as a result, the Australian government is investing in digital financial systems to ensure that the services we provide meet the needs of business, of citizens and of the government. The core underpinnings or visions that the government is seeking through those processes is obviously streamlining citizens and business interactions with government, in particular to make payments faster and to make interactions more friendly. We're also looking at the way we can actually reduce what we call bureaucratic congestion, so the way we manage processes internally to government to actually ensure that our staff can focus on what we call higher value tasks, or tasks that actually add a significant benefit to the overall value of the business process. We're looking at the reuse of government investments. So many of these technologies we're talking about today, as we touched on, are expensive to set up and operate. We're looking at how we can leverage those assets and those investments more broadly. Critical to this is how we're using data across our systems to provide more timely service, but also in how we're using our data to improve insights about citizen and business behaviours, about spend that is occurring across government, and also about our compliance broadly with our obligations, both from an assurance perspective, but also in making sure that we're against government objectives. We're also very focused, and the vision also provides, and the work we've been doing about digital, making sure that we're protecting people's sensitive information, and that we are delivering overall financial operational benefits that can actually contribute more to the Australian economy. Thank you. Just go to the next slide. So the core financial systems that we have operating in government actually touch on the entire ecosystem. Some of those systems are not within the control of government. We work with our central banks, our commercial banks, obviously our business partners and our technology partners in delivering. But when we are looking at how we're delivering these financial services, we do look at the whole financial landscape. Our focus in these areas, particularly in government, so I've just focused on where we're spending energy in government, and our recent reforms is, so we have recently reformed our central budget platform, and that is improved cash management and enabled government entities to actually have access to their appropriated funds. And we call it on a near real-time basis because we do have seconds of delay between transactions that's available. It's usually somewhere between 3 and 5 seconds, but we call it near real-time. And also providing for improved reportability capabilities across the public services, giving a greater understanding of where we're expending funds in government in a much more rapid way. So moving away from monthly insights, sometimes into daily insights into where we're actually spending money. We're also focused on improving the quality and timeliness of compliance, and we're doing this in our financial management systems, which are highly integrated more broadly into our HR systems, other systems, other business systems. So we're very focused on digitalising and making sure that we're obtaining data in a manner that can be reused, but also in automating processes. So we're using, we've got our financial management systems, but we're using technology layers over the top of those to actually expedite service delivery and timeliness in the way we're transacting and supporting government more broadly. In the context of actually delivering quality and timeliness, we're also focused on compliance and security. We've touched on some of my former colleagues that have spoken today have touched on this. But we are making sure that the way we transmit and handle data is secure, including the fact that when we are even sending payment files through EFT arrangements to banks, etc., that they are encrypted. So when they leave the government and they come to the bank, that information we're protecting against fraud, even in that transition period between those two entities. The other things we're focused on is how we're streamlining business and citizen interactions with government. And recent reforms that the Australian government has introduced is things like e-invoicing. And this is increasing the speed in which we can exchange invoices and make funds available. So in a normal payment term in Australian government, we work on 20 days that we will pay an invoice within 20 days. With e-invoicing, we're moving that to 5-day payment terms. So supporting our vendors and our suppliers being paid much more rapidly than in the past. We're also, in the context of our taxation and reporting, we're interfacing all of our FMI systems and our data systems with our taxation systems, and we're supplying our data more seamlessly across to our taxation agents. And this has been most recently, the most recent development in this area has been through single touch payroll. And what this does is it actually pays payroll information straight across to the Australian Taxation Office so that they can support citizens at the time of end-of-year financial returns in actually having that information and being able to provide that back to the citizens directly versus people having to resupply that information to the Australian Tax Office. Of note, this was really important during the COVID pandemic, as the Australian government was actually using this information to inform the making of additional payments to citizens to support them during the pandemic period. So that's a broad overview of the core financial systems that the government is working in and how we're interfacing with them at the moment. If we can just go to the next slide. I briefly mentioned at the beginning that one of the other key areas that we're focused on is actually on business processes. Sorry, just the next slide. Thank you. So in transforming our digital systems, we've also looked at the way we are undertaking our business processes. And traditionally, these have been looked at in isolation. So we've just looked at the accounts payable process. But more recently, we've been looking across the entire value stream. So instead of accounts payable, we're looking across the procure to pay cycle. And what we've been doing through that is breaking all of those steps down, actually having a look at how each step adds value to the supply chain and to the payment chain, and then working out how we are digitalising each step in those processes. So we're doing that across a number of dimensions, those displayed in the screen, so procure to pay, expense to reporting, hire to retire, etc. And we're working through each of those systematically. And we recently just have completed the work with our travel process, where we now have a completely digitalised travel function from when a staff member decides they need to travel all the way through to actually booking the flight and any accommodation, etc. that goes with that. That is completely digitalised and now able to be managed by an individual. Next slide, please. Critical to all the work we're doing is our focus on making sure that as we digitalise, we have the appropriate safety and control measures in place. And in Australia, as I've indicated to you, we have a system that's based on separation of powers. So when we have designed our digital solutions, we've also worked out how to actually manage those separations in a way that helps manage risk. And so within our systems, as we were just hearing from my colleague in Korea, is we have that clear separation of roles and responsibilities in the system. This prevents anyone from having control over a single process, helps manage fraud, but our financial management, our positioning as well. In addition to that, we have checks and balances in the system, and that is to make sure we reduce human error and also prevent inappropriate behaviours that sometimes go on in some of the worlds that we're working with, particularly around money. So, for example, credit card management, as we just heard, making sure that we can have insight very rapidly if someone's using a credit card in an area that isn't supported by government. These processes and these are using standardised practices. And what is it enabling is a user to follow a set path. And behind that, we obviously use audit logging and correctional control techniques to actually monitor what's happening more broadly across our systems. In addition, with our split responsibilities, we've also making sure that and taking leverage that we use contestability and partnership to actually solve some of our challenges. So with purchase or provider splits, for example, we're having contestability in ideas and approaches. And what that does is it's giving a lot of rigour to the way we're designing solutions to make sure that we're focused on the objectives of the government, and in particular the final area that we're focused on in the context of insurance is in our service standards and our contractual obligations, and we use standards and controls in our contracts to make sure that we're also managing across the entire ecosystem. Next slide, please. So in the work that we've been doing, what we have recognised is that with that shared environment comes shared risks. And in the financial management area particularly, there are numerous risks that we have to manage. And what we're working with is that this become more manageable when each member of the entire ecosystem takes on a portion of managing those risks. And where they have particular expertise or capacity to mitigate those risks, that they do so and they share insights back through to other partners across that ecosystem to make sure that collectively we're actually delivering the outcomes that by government or by So the government assurance frameworks actually provide all the active management of shared risks by many different parties. And our independent insurers, such as our National Audit Office, etc., they have the capacity to look more broadly. But we also have regulation industries that regulate particular elements of the sector that we're working with, such as the banking industry. Next slide, please. Some of the benefits that we're seeing are captured on this slide. So we're a bit like you are in Indonesia, monitoring those benefits of investing in technical solutions and digitalisation. I won't go through all of these at the moment, but these are the areas that we're looking at our benefit curves in and capturing information about. Next slide. In terms of where we're going in the future, so we've made significant progress since sort of 2013 with a particular strong focus since then around digitalisation. It started before that, when we really kicked up our energy. Things that we're looking at going forward is continuing to prepare for transactions to be touchless and for platform-based arrangements with end-to-end users being able to speak and interact with each other over a single platform. We're looking at ensuring our architecture is aligned more broadly and that we are able to reuse and design technical services that are connected. Greater adoption of robotic process automation and cognitive innovations such as AI to augment the way our human works at present. We're focused on making sure that our interactions are simplified and streamlined, and that we are capturing our data using that most effectively. We can just go to the next slide. Then one of the major pieces we're working on at the moment, which relates to our operational financial management systems, is that across Australian government at the moment, there's about 100 agencies that all have bespoke F&I systems. They interface with our central management system. But what we're working on at the moment is that all of those 800 agencies would, over the sort of next 10 years, actually consolidate and use a single platform that would include financial management as well as HR components and other elements as well, and that's called GovERP. But I'm happy to talk about that more when we have questions if that's relevant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Fenneros. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Ms. Fenneros. Because we have time constraint, so I would just like to move on to the next presenter, which is Bapak Bobby Wahyu Hernawan.
Yes, thank you.
Bobby, are you ready, Bapak Bobby?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, the time is yours, Bapak.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. His Excellency Mitra Dianto, DG of the Treasury, and then Excellency Secretary, Bapak Didi Khairul, honorable panelists, distinguished participants, and also moderator. It is my honor to be here part of the very important forum today as part of the Trustsury Festival Seminar 2022. So, in this important occasion, I would like to share my observation about the digital platform of the government of the United Arab Emirates or UAE. So, next slide, please. So I would like to share the general digitalization of the government of UAE. So basically, the UAE has one government portal for everything, what they call U.AE, so UAE. So on this one single government portal, actually everyone can do everything through this digital platform, one single platform. So basically, there are a lot of services, there are a lot of information, and a lot of also policies that we can go through this portal to get anything about the UAE. So one of the important features as we discussed today is about the services around the clock, they call it. So this is the government electronic services to their citizens, to their population. So that's one of the important features of the portal. And also one of the information about the UAE, they propose what they call digital UAE from the government side. So if we click one of the links, and we will go through all the information to the line ministries, federal entities, and agencies. So basically, just using one single portal, we can get everything to know more about the UAE and their e-services. Next. If we talk about the digitalization of the UAE, so this program has been started in 2013 actually. So they call it the Total Digital Transformation by UAE and led by what they call digital government. This is a new agency in UAE that solely responsible for the digitalization of the UAE. So one of the important features that I observed from the UAE is what they call digital verification. So this is one single feature that they emphasize on the forerun. So they have what they call digital verification for all documents and also for all parties. It includes the government, individual, and businesses. And in terms of the application, they call it what they call UAE Verify and also UAE Pass. So basically, I will talk about the UAE Pass. So basically, for the UAE Pass, this is the first national digital identity that verifies us as an individual, as part of the citizens. So using the UAE Pass, we can go through all the online system, all the online services offered by the government. So basically, this is like our national identity for all services. So let's say, for example, if we would like to get some services offered by certain ministries online, we go to their website or their application, and then we will direct it first to the UAE Pass, and then we identify ourselves as the citizens of the residents of UAE, and then we go through the website for the services that we require. That's one thing, UAE Pass. For the UAE Verify, they call it Verify, this is actually a verification of the all documents that are issued by the government. So basically, the integrity and validity of the documents, it's very secure, tamper-proof, real-time, and also powered by the blockchain behind the machine. So this is one of the important feature, part of the digitalization of UAE. Next, please. And when we discuss about the UAE government digitalization, they have policies that what they call unified digital platform. Previous speakers have talked this about the unified digital platform policies. So basically, for all governance services, only one single unified platform. And then for the user experience improvement, and then how to convert the traditional services into the integrated and connected digital service, and also connect all the federal government and agency, of course, raise efficiency in digital services and raising trust in the digital services. For the next minutes, I will talk about the internal and then external digitalization of the government of UAE. So when I talk about the internal services or internal process, that's within federal ministers and federal agencies. And if I'm talking about the external one, that's for all the government services provided to the public, wider public. Next, please. So when we talk about the core financial system, I think the previous speakers and also our director of DG Treasury have mentioned this is the three core federal financial system that led by the Ministry of Finance of UAE. So basically, it's quite similar with other countries from Korea or from Australia and even from Indonesia. The three core federal financial system, what they call the Federal Management Information System, Federal Treasury Management System, Smart Reporting System, or they call W, and also they integrated this core financial system with another digital procurement platform. So this is the core financial system in the federal level, led by the Ministry of Finance. It's similar with SPAN or Sakti in Indonesia. So basically connect all the federal ministries and federal authorities. And one important feature is about the digital procurement platform that connect with all the federal suppliers, that they have to register all their services, goods and services through this digital procurement platform that integrated to the core federal financial system. Next, please. So one also, based on my observation, one of the important features of the core financial system for the government, internal one, is what they call electronic services. So basically, this is a web-based access, and then anyone actually could access this, even outside the government. But once you hit the start button, you have to identify yourself that you are part of the government or the federal ministries. But for the outsider, they can see this as part of the one single government portal. So this is the electronic services that they offer based on the website. And then within the website, you can see the written procedures, how to request this electronic services to other federal entities. So it has fees information, duration of the services, responsible units for these electronic services, and then even who is the officer that handle these services. So, for example, if you click off the portal from the Ministry of Finance, you can see a lot of electronic services that you can click. Let's say you request to transfer financial allocation between chapters and program within the federal budget. So basically, you go through this website, any of the officers within federal entities, you go through this website, click this link, and then you can go all over the services offered by, let's say, Ministry of Finance in this case, because Ministry of Finance is the responsible unit. And then you can see how much fees that you have to pay and everything. But of course, because this is electronic services within the government, fees is zero usually, but you can see how many days that you can hoping that your services will be completed. 5 days, 0 days, 1 day, all is there. And this is web-based access for all the electronic services. This is just the example of the digitalization of the government for the internal users of the federal entities. Next, please. Yeah, this is what I told before on the previous slide. So if we require electronic services within internal government, for example, for the transfer of financial allocation, you can see from the website that the screen that display. So you have the procedures, how can we do it? And then what the required document, what is the requirement for others to get the services, how much fee, duration of the services that you can, hoping this is to be completed in 5 days, let's say, and then the target deliverables, target audience, and who is the responsible officer for these services. So based on this website, the portal, anyone from the federal entities, federal agency could access. But of course, when you hit the start button, you have to identify yourself that you are the authorized person for the services. But before you enter the services, it's publicly available information. Next, please. This is what I shown you on the screenshot is the government electronic services for external. So, ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned, the u.ae portal, when you click, you can go through all the government electronic services around the clock, 24 hours. So, this screenshot just to show you what are the services that are available according to each of the federal ministries and federal agencies, and then all the electronic services also available in the mobile application through the Android or through the iPhone one. So when you click one of the services that you might require, you can go through all the services online and all the payment also through the digital payment platform. So this is the example of u.ae, the one single solution, one single portal for digital government of UAE. Next, please. So this is also one of the important feature, how to integrate all the services by the government, either internal or external. So basically, for the external one, of course, one of the important features is about the smart payment channels. So these smart payment channels basically to facilitate for all the government services, all the fees that are holding by the federal ministries, federal agencies. And of course, there are multiple payment options that are available. Cash payment still available over the counter physically, but it's now drastically reduced, the external counter, the physical counter. So very less likely you will pay by cash on the counter. The counter itself in terms of number is very minimum now in physically in their office building. And then the other one is of course electronic or digital or through the mobile payment or application. They have one or two that very famous one via application, what they call Dubai Pay or Abu Dhabi Pay. This is like a digital wallet that available through the apps store and also Google Play. And then online payment through the website or any government portal, you can pay through a credit card and everything. And also the electronic channel through what we call like preloaded value in terms, let's say in transportation that you use the public transport provided by the government. You can use the preloaded value of the card that's integrated into the system. And also you can pay, let's say from the electronic kiosk. Let's say you want to pay your parking for the government, public parking, you go to the electronic kiosk, or you can pay from the application as well. And of course, the debit and credit card. Next, please. So I would like to present a very simple case of business trip administration for the federal employee in the UAE. This is confirmed from our colleagues, the Ministry of Finance UAE. So basically, if you did a business trip administration, what you receive is the benefits. And the benefits for the federal employees in the UAE is a very simple one. They call it the daily lump sum allowance and also the ticket, the international transportation, let's say if you have to travel internationally. So daily lump sum allowance is to cover all the expenses. So this is including accommodation, local transport, meals, and other expenditure. Sometimes it's also include the visa fees that you have to pay if you have to travel overseas. So it's part of the daily lump sum allowance. And then important or interestingly, all the daily lump sum allowance is paid after the travel, or they call it post-mission. And also it's part of your salary at the end of the month. So this is added into monthly salary transferred by bank transfer. And then of course the number or the amount of the lump sum daily allowance is standardized according to employee grades and the destination of the mission. So this is, I would like to highlight that the daily lump sum is paid after the mission. it is part of the salary end of this month, end of the month, and then transfer to the bank account. So there is no cash involved. And for the ticket before you go to the mission on the business trip, it is provided by the office. So the office, they have someone responsible for the what we call digital procurement. So it is linked to the digital procurement platform, and then you just tell the officers, the administrative officers that you would like to go on the certain dates, and they will provide you with the ticket. So actually no cash involved for the employee if they will do on a business trip. So how about the administration or the accountability of the business trip? It's also post-mission, but basically it's still through electronic submission in the form of some PDF form. So basically you fill up the form, the PDF form, and then ask the signature from your manager, and then submit it. And then you can hope that at the end of the month, you will receive your business trip benefits into your account in part of your salary. I think next, I think that's all from my observation about the UAE digitalization platform. Hope that's also enrich our experience and would be. And one more thing, I do hope that the Ministry of Finance of Indonesia would be the leaders how to make the Indonesian government a very digital one. Thank you very much.
There's a book from Brad King called Bank 4.0, where he said banking is still relevant, so banking can be done everywhere, but not at bank. So it means banking is still a necessary thing, but not necessarily be at bank. That actually put bank as like Bank Mandiri, as a conventional bank, at risk, that at some point will be irrelevant anymore. So banking can be done on the other platform that is not bank. That's why today's topic would be how Bank Mandiri is securing our dominance through a progressive transformation and digital innovation. I think the slide's not on yet.
The slides, please. The slide. Can we show the slide for Pak Eko Yudhistira?
Okay, while we're waiting, I think we just move on, because on a benefit of time. Moving on, we are doing our research on how a digital economy will grow by the next 5 years. So in Southeast Asia, we see that in 2025, digital economy will be doubled in Southeast Asia, where half of the value is actually coming from Indonesia. And then we break down those value, it's actually coming from e-commerce transactions. So when we look back, who's doing this economy movement? It's actually us. 96% of all Indonesian population is actually having access to internet. And then out of this, 66% of those populations are doing financial transaction through mobile payment. So their mobile phone is actually their bank now. So yeah, so on these slides, we would like to extend that out of this five last year, the movement of new digital banks has been very rapid. Yeah. So in Indonesia, we predict that 25% out of all population is actually having an account from a digital banks. And it's going to be growing through the next 5 years. So, but there's a journal by Boston Consulting Group saying that there are actually 249 digital banks around the world currently. 13 out of which is what we say a potentially having a profitable path. The rest would be somewhat be diluted, would be not surviving. Out of this 13, 10 out of those numbers are actually coming from Asia Pacific. So we see Rakuten from Japan, we see Line from Korea, and then we also have several digital banks also in Indonesia. But the journal continue that to be a successful digital banks, you have actually two elements. First, that you have to be backed by an established company with a significant business experience. And then you need to have a substantial ecosystem. So these two is very important, because basically if you see our latest trends in Indonesia, most of the conglomerates now coming up with their own digital banks. We have Alo banks, we have Jago, because basically they have their ecosystem. So time will tell whether they survive or not. But Mandiri will have our own roadmap how to respond to what is happening to the trends. Can we go to the next slide? So observing what is happening, since like 5 years ago we started our digital transformation roadmap. As a conventional bank, we are aware that we have a legacy system that we need to level up. We need to scale those conventional legacy system to be able to serve on the digital environment. And then we started to innovate digital native products, where this product is actually only be established on a digital environment. We also realized that we have immense data. All customer transactions data, all customer profiles, those can be analyzed, and then we can really have a good understanding on who's our customers. And then the next would be having a modernized channel. We have ATMs, we have EDC. That is a thing of the 10 years ago. Now we are moving on a digital platform. We are moving on super apps. So we have 3 initiatives, which is Live-in, Copra, and Smart Branch. So moving on. So Live-in is one of our most important milestones in terms of our digital roadmap transformation. This is basically a super apps we launched in 2021. It actually comprises of 3 big chunks of services. First, all the banking services needs to be inside. So when you see Live-in, then basically all the things that you are doing at the branch can be done at Live-in, except actually drawing money or deposit money, because basically that's not possible yet. The next one is actually we are aggregating all the Mandiri subsidiaries. Bank Mandiri as a conglomerate, we have our subsidiaries on multiple financial services, all is integrated inside Live-in. And the next would be integrating the lifestyle, integrating services that is not necessarily a banking or financial services inside Live-in. So that is the 3 part, that is what Live-in is all about. Next. So if we take on journey on how is living progressing currently since 2021, we have our phases. We have 3 phases that is very identifiable, but at the end we are very ready, we are very equipped to be able to adjust on the next opportunity. On the first phase now, we are actually gathering crowd on the where we have our conventional customers, we have new customers. Those customers needs to be using Livin, so that with the crowds we'll be able to monetize those crowds. So that is unlocking the value for the Bank Mandiri and also for the customers. And then now we are on the 3rd stage, whereas we are now venturing into a new big thing, which is integrating the ecosystem within Livin, the ecosystem outside Livin inside. Next. Yeah, so this is the first stage. How we attract those outside Livin to use Livin. We are actually shifting their behavior while they are usually accustomed to go to the branch or go to the ATMs to do their transactions. Now through Livin, those behavior can be shifted. For example, you don't have to go to branch to open a bank account, because basically you can really just download Livin and then make an opening account opening at Livin. Or you don't have to own an EDC to be a merchant. You can really have a QR now. We have around 200,000 EDCs around, but we have almost 4 million curious merchants in just 2 years. So that is how easy digitalization made the financial sectors be. So on the right side, we are also inventing a lot of features. So if we compare those with the digital banks, we are actually 6 times have more features than the digital banks. That is the one that is attracting customers to use Livin. Next. So that is made possible because we have a modern technology stack where everything is done agile. Basically, we are launching new features almost every month. There is a restriction on regulatory to BI and OJK. That is what is actually making the launching is a bit not really every month, but in terms of preparation of the features from the requirement up to a testing level, we can really do it within every month. As you can see, from October when we'll go live, we already have Livin, but on December we are the one who's actually the first to introduce BI Fast on mobile apps the next month, and then the next we are actually the one who's exclusively selling MotoGP Mandalika at Livin, and go to investment and then go to Suka. On next. So if you can see on the light blue, it's actually the number and the volume of transaction at ATMs. It's actually going down. It's shifted towards transaction using Livin. So it's actually ramping up quite significantly. Next. So that we are having those crowds around inside Livin, this time for us to unlock the value. So this is just a couple of examples. For example, from the left side is Mandiri is spending quite a significant amount of money to print a card. So using Livin, we are actually be able to virtualize the card so that we are no longer need to print the card. So everything can be done using a mobile. ATM is also the same thing. We have now 13,000 ATMs, but with Livin, we can actually potentially be cutting the number of ATMs so that our operating costs would be lower.
Pak Eko, 2 minutes more. 2 minutes more.
2 minutes. Okay. Sorry. So so let's move to the stage 3. We can next. Next. Yeah. So stage 3 would be inviting other application inside. So what we see is let's have other application that is only serving one purpose only inside Livin. That is where we are inventing what we call Livin Suka. Next. One of our achievement on Livin Suka is actually when we go and sell tickets for Westlife, it only takes 1 hour to sell around 25,000 tickets through Livin. So next slide. So at the end, everything goes down to our fundamentals where when everybody using Livin, then basically we can really move down our cost of fund. That basically enables us to give a cheaper loan. The last remark, next. Yep. So this is my last slide. So basically the point of having a digital transformation is really not to become digital. So it's not for us to have a super apps, but for us to be able to create more value to the business, to the customers. Probably that's my closing remarks. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Eko. Ladies and gentlemen, because we have to wrap up at 12:20, so now I'd like to invite questions from the audience. Please feel free to ask whether in English or in Indonesia. Bapak dan Ibu silakan jika ada yang ingin bertanya, bisa dalam bahasa Inggris ataupun dalam bahasa Indonesia. Baik. Please. We have two person who raised hand here. Mike Runner, please help. Mike Runner. Oke. Pak Darmanto.
Oke, thank you. In bahasa saja ya. Tadi saya lihat begitu perkembangan dari mulai Pak Saiful ya sampai dengan Ibu dari Australia tadi menyampaikan semua tahapan dalam membangun sebuah sistem yang harus dimiliki oleh sebuah negara untuk transaksi keuangannya. Terakhir saya lihat dari yang disampaikan oleh Pak yang dari Bank Mandiri tadi itu, sepertinya kita harus mulai mendekati area private ya untuk itunya tidak hanya public saja karena di Bank Mandiri nanti akan punya super application ya. Nah kita sekarang yang kita miliki itu baru sampai pada Sakti, Homespan dan sebagainya ke arah sini. Sementara ada aplikasi-aplikasi yang lain yang kecil-kecil yang mendukung untuk itu gitu. Sementara kalau dilihat dari Bank Mandiri, dia hanya punya satu aplikasi Sakti Livin yang akan dikembangkan menjadi super aplikasi. Yang bisa saja arahnya sudah dimiliki oleh masing-masing gadget itu. Masing-masing gadget dari para stakeholder. Nah, bagaimana apakah sistem yang akan kita bangun di ke depan ya sebagai pengganti SPAN atau yang lainnya gitu sudah mengarah ke hal itu gitu. Saya khawatir saja nanti begitu kita bangun akan seperti posisi yang sekarang dengan teknologi yang baru. Kalau kita sampai pada terminologi itu saja, tentunya ini akan menjadi sebuah kegagalan yang sangat total ini sebenarnya. Karena kita hanya membangun sesuatu yang seperti ini dengan sistem baru. Harusnya memang kita harus sudah mencontoh apa yang dilakukan oleh Bank Mandiri dengan super aplikasinya. Kira-kira seperti itu, Pak. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Bapak Darmanto. Yeah, big applause to Pak Darmanto. So the question is from Pak Darmanto. He said that in Bank Mandiri has one super apps which is Livin, and then as of now in Digi Treasury of Indonesia we have so many apps. And then Pak Darmanto just concerned about whether we will use these apps again, this system again, only with the new technology, or we will have a single super apps in the future. Maybe this question can be asked by Pak Saiful. The time is yours, Pak.
Okay, thank you, Pak Darmanto. Actually, he is my ex classmate before. So yeah, he always curious about how to create something better and resolve the issue, I guess. So Pak Darmanto, arah ke depan kira-kira yang akan dibangun di DG of Treasury. Di Direktorat Jenderal Perbendaraan kita memiliki apa yang disebut dengan IT Blueprint. Mengquote dari perkataan dari Pak Dirjen, Pak Hadianto, bahwa IT Blueprint basically is live document. Jadi dia sesuatu yang subject to be modified based on perkembangan dan kemudian ide yang kemudian akan kita tempatkan ke dalam blueprint tersebut. Tapi kalau kita nggak punya blueprint cetak biru, kita juga nggak akan tahu akan dibawa kemana sebetulnya pembangunan dari IT kita. Nah, secara singkat saya bisa katakan bahwa IT blueprint yang kita bangun setiap 4-5 tahun, kemudian kita revisit dan kemudian kita adjust kembali, maka dalam gagasan kami ya sebagai unit IT yang ada di DJPB, basically akan membangun hanya 2 saja untuk mensimplifikasi bangunan atau topologi dari arsitektur IT kita, yaitu core and then non-core. Yang core system itu adalah sebetulnya integrasi untuk spending side-nya itu adalah span dengan saktinya just facilitated by one single system. Ini adalah visi yang ada di kami ya. Kemudian tentu saja kita juga punya dari sisi aspek revenue-nya, which is itu adalah modul penerimaan negara atau MPN yang karakteristiknya memang berbeda dengan apa yang terdapat di SPAN dan Sakti tersebut. Nah, di luar dari yang core sistem tersebut, itu yang kami kategorikan dengan non-core system. Whatever the system yang diperlukan untuk mendukung operasional dari bisnis unit supaya mereka bisa menerjemahkan policy dan kemudian juga gagasan-gagasan yang lebih mengakselerasi dari keinginan yang ingin dicapai oleh masing-masing bisnis unit yang belum terfasilitasi di dalam core system tadi itu kita bangunkan ke dalam non-core system dan itu kita pooling dalam satu tempat yang disebut dengan digit. Jadi dalam cetak biru kita itu, jadi nanti beberapa tahun yang akan datang dari sekarang, which is itu adalah mungkin 3 atau 4 tahun yang akan datang, kita hanya punya core system yang isinya itu adalah span integrate with the Sakti and then MPN, itu 2 sisi yang berbeda memang, dan kemudian digit isinya adalah every single aplikasi support untuk particular purpose itu kita tempatkan dalam digit tersebut. Digit itu kira-kira bayangannya adalah bahwa ketika orang entry masuk itu adalah dengan menggunakan single sign on saja, tapi kemudian dia bisa milih, saya butuhnya ke SIKP, saya butuhnya ke BIOS misalnya, atau saya butuhnya ke apa lagi gitu ya. Tapi packagingnya itu hanya ada di satu, yaitu di digit. Nah, benefit yang akan kita dapatkan dengan kita klasifikasi seperti ini adalah proses untuk pengembangan dan kemudian keberlanjutan operasionalnya itu akan menjadi lebih sederhana karena topologinya kita samakan. Terus kemudian language programmingnya juga kita samakan ya. Terus kemudian teknologi yang kemudian kita adopt juga tidak terlalu bervariasi sehingga cara kita untuk mengelolanya itu menjadi lebih simple karena tidak butuh expertise atau kemampuan yang berbeda-beda karena language programnya yang dipakai untuk mendevelopnya juga berbeda-beda. Mungkin tidak sesimpel apa yang ada di teman-teman yang ada di industri. Seperti contohnya teman-teman di Bank Mandiri yang sudah ditempatkan di dalam satu super apps ya, yang kemudian every kebutuhan dari customer itu tersedia di sana. Tapi nanti mungkin pembicara dari Bank Mandiri bisa menjelaskan untuk customer purpose mungkin di live-in-nya, tapi barangkali di internal manajemennya ada sistem yang dipakai untuk mensupport coordinate antara head office dengan branch dan sebagainya yang mungkin not supported directly dengan live-in tadi, barangkali, tapi saya nggak tahu. Nah, kira-kira topologinya seperti itu Pak Darmanto, arah ke depannya on the near future yang akan dibangun di perbendaraan. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Bapak. So we are now moving towards simplify many applications into one application which is Digit, Bapak ya. So do you have quick response, Pak Eko, about it? Maybe you could answer in English so the audience from virtual can understand.
Okay, what Pak Saiful is saying is actually very correct, Pak. So what we have in Livin is actually a super apps for a retail purpose, Pak. So it's a individual usage. So we have a platform called Copra, which is more on the usage on the company level, where there is a layer where you make a transaction, someone check it, someone authorize the transaction, all the layers, and then authorization wise, it can really go to smartphones using application of Copra. So if the transaction is actually for a retail purpose, yes, we are using Livin as an individual, but as a corporate, I think institution as a finance as this financial ministry, I think a platform is more suitable to cover the needs. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Eko. Please round of applause for Pak Eko and Pak Saiful. Because we still have 5 minutes more, so I'd like to move to the question from virtual, because we have to ask our panelists from outside, from in the virtual, because we have to know many things about this digital transformation. Let me see the question here. First, I would like to ask to Mr. Nam and also Ms. Feneros. We have question from Anonymous. UAE has looked into and applied blockchain technology. Just wondering whether Republic of Korea or Australian government is also moving to that direction. Maybe I can give the time first to Ms. Feneros, please.
Sorry about that. Thank you. Australia has utilised some blockchain technology where it is applicable, and we will continue to look at that going forward. That's probably the broad answer. It's been in multiple different areas across Australian government and also the private sector as well.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Feneros. So Australia also moving toward blockchain technology, and how about in Korea, Mr. Nam?
Oh yeah, thanks for the question. In Korea, we are exploring the new technologies like artificial intelligence and big data, the blockchain. So in the different plants, we already implemented the artificial intelligence technology already. And as for the blockchain technology, some of it has been implemented already in the function of the user authorization function. So when government officials or the public officials to log on the system, that where we are using the blockchain technology somehow, but I guess not in a full scale. So I just say that we are starting to use the blockchain technology in the government application side, but we are still to go long way to go. So that's the current situation right now.
Okay, thank you. A long way to go, but moving toward blockchain technology. Thank you, Ms. Fenaras, and also Mr. Nam. The next question is coming from Santos from Jakarta. This question, I would like to ask this question to Bapak Bobby in UAE. The issue about digital payment, Bapak, digital payment problem is connection in remote areas. What is the strategy of UAE governments to overcome them, and how long does it take? Is there any remote area in UAE? Pak Bobby?
Okay. Thank you for this interesting question. So I 100% agree that the infrastructure for the digital is relying on the telecommunication infrastructure for the internet. So very specific, if you ask about the UAE, well, honestly speaking, we can say that we don't have any remote area here. In terms of the population and the area of UAE, it's mostly it's flat and it's a desert, and there is no obstacle. The major obstacle for the blank spot or the remote area here in UAE. So we don't have any issue here for the infrastructure, for the telecommunication, for the internet. So we don't have any issue at all in the UAE. And of course, the UAE in terms of the capitals, the support of their revenue in terms of money, they are very strong. And then that's why we are already in the 5G all over the places in UAE here. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Bobby. If I'd like to ask one more questions to the panelists. There is an issue about how do the law enforcement system of every country of the speakers treat the government payment document as a proof in trial. How is the digital documents used as evidence in trial? I will give this question first to Mr. Nam.
Okay, thanks for the question. So as per the digital documents, I would like to take an example to using the different flows. So when you request for the spending request, there might be the certain documents to be attached for the transaction. Then how the government officials in the middle in the government of Korea are doing that they are reviewing the documents in terms of the validity or in terms of the content-wise. So I guess the most important thing is that the government, the financial information system is to transact the budget and treasury. So in order to do that, somehow the digital documents is somehow important, but the most important thing is that to get the budget allotted accordingly and to spend the budget properly is more important. So I guess that in Korea, the digital documents is somehow the supporting documents to support those transactions in government transactions. In terms of the financial management information system like different plans.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nam. How about in Australia, Ms. Fenaras?
Well, thank you. So digital documents are used for purposes of legal proceedings. So what we've done in the context is, as we've implemented digital solutions, we've also been looking at how do those documents Then the test, how do we ensure that they're stored in a way that meets record requirements, but also how do we store them in a way that means they are not subject to interference with other people. There are some limitations around using digital documents at the moment because it's been written in particular legislation which will be received in a particular way. The government is working through those issues at the moment in terms of how we keep moving towards digital documentation across all levels. So it's a work in progress, but again, going back to some of my earlier comments about making sure that you're thinking through these assurance mechanisms as you're designing systems has been part of our journey in terms of making sure that they're well managed.
Thank you, Ms. Fenneros. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that's all the time we have. And so please give a big hand to our speakers, Bapak Saiful, Pak Eko, Mr. Nam in Korea, Ms. Fenneros in Australia, and Pak Bobby in Abu Dhabi. Once again, big applause to the speakers. Thank you so much. This discussion has been a very fruitful one, and we hope it can set a good insight for Indonesia in building its government payment platform. Once again, thank you very much, and I'd like to return this event to our MC, Mbak Vanisha.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Ghafur. Please give a big round of applause to the speaker and the moderator. Okay, once again, big round of applause to the speaker and the moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a productive time here today, and this event is about to come to the very end. But before I close this event, please kindly fill out the survey link mentioned on the screen. And for the online participant, the link is available on the Zoom chat. Thank you. Okay, so here is the link survey. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the committee, I would like to thank presenters, the speakers, the moderators, and the participants for participating in today's event. We expect that today's event will be valuable for us to bring betterment of our organization and so does to our beloved country. Ladies and gentlemen, we have already come to the end of this event. I would like to cite the quotes from Director General of Treasury. Digitalization is inevitable. It depends on how we react and face it. Analyze the impact and what we need to do as an organization. Unlock your potential. Always work beyond normative function. Good is not good enough when better is expected. While enjoying the lunch break and prayer, as we ended this occasion, please welcome Angklung Kabumi, who will entertain us together for one last time in the closing ceremony.
storming than you do. When you hurt just like a dream. When you load it, when you got it. When you awesome like you wrong. Just sing looks like a song. And feel it, words good started. When then it is clouded. And the return you feel behind. You sweet little one. When you look, you settle right in your eyes. How can you say, I wanna dance? The music coming, gonna dance so far. Yeah, yeah. Let's pray open a little belly gutter and rolling down dancing fool. We don't need to worry, 'cause we don't know how to learn. Don't need to talk, just walk to learn. 'Cause we don't need to listen to that. That's how I learn something stay. We're going to yourself. The world is the world to love. Better not take heart. It's gonna look at the color to put. Better not take the love. Yeah, the way it is over. It's our lost hope into the light. Yes, we keep it going. And the side up until it's time. Yeah, I wanna dance. The music got me going. I know they can't stop me. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Let's play open it and let's just let me go down. And rolling like we're dancing. Ooh, yeah. We don't have to worry, 'cause we will find.
mempersiapkan makan siang yang telah tersedia. Kami juga ingin mengingatkan kembali kepada Bapak Ibu bahwa rangkaian agenda Rapimnas akan dimulai kembali pada pukul 13 WIB. Kami mohon Bapak Ibu kembali ke venue. Sembari menikmati hidangan, mari kita terus menikmati angklung dan juga video performance. Terima kasih banyak. Baik, kami persilahkan kepada Bapak Ibu sembari menonton angklung untuk dapat menikmati hidangan.